Howdy, folks. I'm assuming acetine, articulately arguing about aberrant abbreviations.
I'm Amber.
And here are more aberrant abbreviations for us to argue about, because there are far too many abbreviations, and they're all aberrant. All of them.
Is that your argument?
That's my argument. Let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter on this Saturday morning special is titled, Am I a Jerk for Purposely Tripping Over a Suitcase and Guilt Tripping My Husband? I'm a 32-year-old female, and I'm currently 8 months pregnant with our first, and I'm trying to do everything that I can to make the house ready. This started with a little spring cleaning, but has developed into a full-blown clean of everything. One of the things that I've decluttered recently was mine and my husband's closet. I donated everything that we don't wear and have folded and put away everything that we don't need during the winter. Some of this clothing has gone into a suitcase, which is currently sitting in our bedroom floor because it is too heavy for me to lift and put away. I have asked my husband to please help me out more than once, but he either is always too tired after finishing work or he says that it slips his mind. All in all, the suitcase is currently looking like a permanent installation in our bedroom. He has at least shifted out of the main walkway in the interim. Well, last night I woke up to go to the bathroom and ended up tripping over the suitcase as I fumbled in the dark. I do obviously know where it is, after all, it has been there for so long. But I was half asleep and trying to avoid our sleeping pup. While the fall wasn't bad, I did wake my husband in the process. My husband was initially quite worried, especially since our midwife told us that any fall needed a trip to the hospital. But once he realized it was because of the suitcase, he became quite upset. He said that there's no way that I could have tripped over the suitcase unintentionally, and he has moved it out of the walkway, and I have done it to prove a point. He said that he could not believe that I would behave so passive-aggressively and put our baby's life at risk rather than just asking him again, and that forgetting to move the suitcase is not a crime. The more I tried to explain that I was just trying to avoid waking him and tripping over the dog, the more he seemed to insist that these were just convenient excuses to make him look lazy and unhelpful around the house. He said that I was punishing him for not getting to the suitcase sooner, and that if anything, I should have had a plan to deal with it from the beginning, as it was me who had wanted to sort out the closet in the first place. My husband was fired up after I mentioned to the midwife this morning that I had tripped over the suitcase, and he said that I could have just told her that I had fallen over the dog or my shoelaces. He said that he had made his feelings clear during the night when we had our discussion, and that I was rubbing salt in the wound now. I spoke to my mom, a 61-year-old female, about it after we got back from the midwife because I wanted a vent, and she surprisingly took his side and said that I was letting my emotions get the best of me. My mom said that I should have been more graceful bringing it up in front of the midwife, although I will say that I never said anything about asking him to move it. And she said that the situation has probably made my husband feel quite bad about himself, which is why it has turned into such a big drama. Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. Your husband needs to learn how to manage his emotions appropriately. Certainly he's probably feeling some level of guilt for this, and so he's trying to shift the blame onto OP so he can ease his conscience and not feel like a lazy partner who has, left the situation so his partner can trip.
Well, I think we all leave things laying around every once in a while, and sometimes it takes some energy to put things away. And I don't think that he was doing this maliciously, and I don't think OP was doing this maliciously. And I think that the guilt of her falling is really what drove him to be so accusatory, because he didn't want to be blamed for this, even though OP has asked him multiple times. So I do believe that this is just kind of a flipping the script to make it so that he doesn't have to accept blame for her falling.
Right.
And so that if the child's hurt, he can just pass it off as, the OP's fault.
Right. Well, and it's very clear he doesn't want anyone knowing about the suitcase because, again, that admits failure on his part, and it has to not be his fault.
Yeah, so I don't think that OP's in the wrong here, but I do think that marriage counseling might be in order here. It seems like he is, again, his reaction here I don't think is a good reaction.
No, and he needs to do some soul searching about why his approach to guilt is to immediately shift the blame to someone else.
Yeah, and I just don't think that's healthy. I really don't think that's healthy at all. And I don't think, I would have said that no one was at fault had he not done this whole blaming her, right? OP tripping over the bag wasn't his fault.
Right. And then trying to cover it up too. Like, there can be differences in types of falls. Like, it might be relevant from a medical perspective that it was a trip over a suitcase versus over a dog or a shoelace.
Yeah, so again, like, I think that him trying to sweep this under the rug is just him trying to absolve himself of guilt, and I think his method for handling guilt is very unhealthy. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Mika Rokuri says, not the jerk. Question out of general interest. Would not alter my opinion of the situation. Are you asking him to carry it up like 3 flights of stairs or something? Like, how can he always be too tired to move a suitcase? As to his accusations that you did this on purpose, I have lived in the same house with the same bedroom set up for the last 17 and a half years. I still whack my thigh on the edge of a footboard on my bed on a regular basis. Not kidding. Over 17 years, I still misjudged the distance.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't lived in my home quite that long, but we have this doorknob that I repeatedly bang my hip on.
And OP replies, thank you for your comment. In terms of difficulty, the suitcase only needs to be moved down a straight hallway with no stairs. The only challenge would be the actual weight of the suitcase itself, rather than having to navigate anything particularly tricky. And who ate all the D-pay? 3274 says, you're the jerk. He's working while you are not. Just do it yourself, and don't be lazy. And OP replies, thank you for your comment. To be clear, we both work 9 to 5 jobs from home. While I will be going on maternity leave soon, I am still working for the time being.
Well, and even if OP wasn't working again, the suitcase is too heavy for her to carry in her current condition. Like,
yeah, I think that this person is just being a troll. And Kaiju Alert says, info, has the suitcase been put away or is it still sitting where you tripped over it? I'm trying to understand what the big difficulty is in moving it. And OP replies, thank you for your question. The suitcase was moved after we arrived home from the midwife. I will also use your comment to answer some of the other questions that I've gotten, but now I can't find in the comments. 1. Why couldn't I do it? Doesn't it have wheels? The suitcase doesn't have wheels, but I acknowledge that I could have unpacked it, put the empty suitcase where it belongs, and then moved all the clothes into the suitcase. To be honest, I had just hoped that my husband could help me move it in one go rather than me doing it like that, which I think is pretty reasonable. 2, is there some reason that it wouldn't be an easy job? For example, stairs. No, the suitcase needs to be moved into the guest bedroom's closet, which is down a straight hallway with no stairs. No massive difficulties. 3, why did I create extra jobs around the house? The closet has been needing to be done for a long time, and especially now that I think we're going into winter. I didn't do this without my husband's knowledge or blessing, as some comments have said. He was well aware that I would be organizing our closet, and he is now quite pleased that he has more space. This certainly wasn't an evil campaign to mess with his stuff and then make him lift more heavy things around the house. He knew it was happening and is enjoying the benefits. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Paying for a $300 bill for people that I didn't even want there? I am really torn on this, so I would definitely appreciate some advice. I'll start off by saying that I have an aunt on my dad's side of the family. She's 50 and has 5 kids ranging from 20 all the way to 12. She's always been known as a freeloader and taken advantage of situations and people. One time, me and my dad were planning on going to the drive-in, and my dad stupidly told her. She asked if her kids could be included too. I felt mad because this happened every time me and my dad had something fun planned, just me and him. I'm hoping that you get the idea with what I've given you so far. But anyways, last week I wanted to celebrate my little sister for getting her driver's permit, and I invited all of our family to the Olive Garden. By that I mean all of us who live in the same home. I told everyone to clear their schedules for Friday afternoon because I didn't want anyone to feel left out. Well, that's where I messed up because my dad told my aunt, and he told her that she could tag along without telling me. We showed up to Olive Garden at around 4:30 p.m. and I asked for a table for 5, me, my dad, and 2 sisters and grandfather. But my dad asked if they could make it a table for 12. I asked why, and that's when he told me. I was mad, especially because my aunt and my little sister have a history, but I didn't think much of it because I wasn't expecting what was coming up. We were seated, and around 30 minutes later, she shows up with all of her kids. We eventually order, and she kept ordering expensive dishes and lots of drink. I was kind of in awe, considering that she lives off food stamps, which I don't shame anyone who does, but she kept just ordering like she was Scrooge McDuck on just another Tuesday. The bill eventually comes up, and I ask for it to be split. She says in such a grating voice, "What do you mean split the bill? I thought you were paying for us." That's when it clicked. She only came for the free food. I immediately glared at my dad, who started blaming me, saying, "Why would you offer to pay?" and then not follow through. Maybe because I wasn't expecting to pay for another 6 people, I ended up asking the waitress how much it was and how much it would be because I didn't want to ruin the mood and my little sister's accomplishment. The bill came out to be about $557, excluding what me and my family, my dad, my 2 sisters, and grandpa ate. It would be about $243. I outright refused to pay for her and her kids' meals. 2 of them are still kids, but I never invited her myself, let alone agreed to pay for her bill. Now my dad is calling me a jerk because he had to pay for it with his credit card. I don't believe that I did anything wrong, but that's the reason that I'm here. Am I the jerk? Edit 1, I know that I will definitely sound just like any other user saying I was not expecting this to blow up, but I truly mean it. Also, sorry for all the grammar and spelling mistakes. If there are any, English is not my first language. I'd like to thank all of you who gave me a truly helpful advice and even gave me some words of encouragement. There is quite a few comments, but I'm going to go over each and every one of them. There seems to be some confusion, so I will clarify. Although, if any of you need some context on something else, let me know. I am 18 years old. I currently don't attend college because I'm trying to save up and just taking a gap year. My dad and my aunt have always been close. They were both addicts together, and they both made my mom's life a living nightmare. Some of you suggested that there may be some type of Sweet Home Alabama type thing going on between them, and I will tell you now that is nothing of the sort is happening. I may say a very specific thing about my aunt, like how she has a grating voice, but most of my hatred towards her comes from how my mom would tell me stories on how my aunt and dad would literally bully my mom, and how one time they left her homeless with me and my 2 sisters being less than 3 years old. My little sister was just a few months old. Some of you also said that I was just seeking validation for a very obvious dilemma. But everyone around me has turned on me. Even my grandpa thinks that I was wrong for not paying. Some of my friends are even saying that I humiliated them and I should have been clear from the start. That's why I decided to ask Reddit. Note that I'm not mad about being told how obvious this may seem. It's just that some people don't know the full extent of the circumstances. I'm already looking for an apartment that I can rent out for me and my sisters. I hate that it's come to this, but I'm done with my dad's shenanigans. I'll try to update if anything else happens, but for now, goodbye. Alright folks, what do you think?
No, you're not the jerk. I mean, you didn't invite these people. You didn't even know they were coming. Like, if someone invites extra guests to a dinner, it's on them at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you don't just get to invite more people to a dinner without asking the person who set up the whole thing, right? So if their dad had come to them and said, "Oh, do you mind if I invite your aunt to and have you pay," or something like that? But that's so awkward, right?
Yeah.
It's so like in poor taste to even be like, "Hey, can I invite somebody else for you to pay for?"
Well, exactly, because that's generally not how you do things. Like, it is in such poor taste to be like, I want you to spend money on these people.
Yeah. I mean, certainly it would have been up to OP at that point in time to decide whether or not they wanted to foot the bill for the extra guests, but they weren't told and they didn't invite them, so I don't think that OP has anything to worry about here.
Right, and then the dad was just trying to use public humiliation to get OP to pay, which isn't a good way to go.
Yeah, which is why he didn't tell him until the last minute, right? Because then OP could have said no up to that point, right? But the fact that she was already invited and showed up, there was nothing that OP could do about that situation. So I do think that their dad needs to feel some kind of consequences for his actions, and that OP shouldn't be the one who is stuck with the bill. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber's frantically opening a jovial Bobstein joke to a page with a joke,
Yeah.
I presume.
I had a joke picked out, but the book, I just left it open and it kind of felt closed on me.
Oh.
What is a werewolf's favorite hotel?
Another werewolf joke. What do you know?
I had a Dracula one today.
Oh, you had a
actually picked
Dracula
out.
one? I'm not surprised about that because half of the jokes are about werewolves with egg on their butt, and the other half are jokes about vampires. I don't even remember what this joke is because I'm just so outraged by...
It's a great joke. What is a werewolf's favorite hotel?
I can tell you exactly what a werewolf's favorite hotel is. It's Motel Hello. That's the werewolf's favorite hotel.
Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn. Okay, that's actually not terrible. Honestly, it's not terrible. I'll give you props, Jovial Bob Sign. That's a pass. A solid pass.
I liked it.
And I have licorice spice. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Saturday, special Saturday, spectacular Saturday. Whatever S word you want to pair this Saturday with. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it in the form of a sign for some uninvited guests.
Greetings, uninvited guests. Just know that you are not welcome to be here, but if you do choose to say, you are going to be responsible for your own meals because I didn't invite you and I'm not paying for you.
That would be quite the sign. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.